All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of Sportsphone KNBR with Bill Laskey and the San Francisco Giants. Their last homestand were 5-2 starting off this week. They had a day off on Monday, and then they went down to San Diego and faced a couple good right-hand pitchers, and they lost two games, 5-3 and 7-4. And they came home to thinking, well, we got the Colorado Rockies in town. Colorado Rockies 5-25 coming in to today's game. When you look at team statistics, Colorado had the worst pitching line. They had a 5.3 earned run average. They're 30th in Major League Baseball. In hitting, their team is hitting .211. That's right, .211. And you had Justin Verlander going on the hill today, and he threw another exceptional game. In his last two starts going into today's game, he faced the Angels. He went 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run. Faced the Texas Rangers, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. And you add in today's game where he could have earned 6 innings, and he went out there for the 7th, gave up a home run, but it was that time of the game when the Giants took the lead. And I was questioning, maybe he should have taken him out. Maybe Bob Melvin pushed him a little bit. Maybe Justin Verlander pushed Bob Melvin a little bit to go out in the 7th. He had 79 pitches, 49 for strikes. He was throwing first pitch strikes, 12 out of 24 at the end of the game. And he faced Ryan McMahon, and he was behind 1-1. Good fastball, got it by him. He tried to sneak another fastball by him, and he hit a dead center field for a home run. That kind of changed the momentum right then. The Giants had taken the momentum with 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning to give Verlander the lead. Camilo Duvall, there was nobody warming up, so sure, Bob Melvin took the chance and put him out there. And as soon as the home run was hit, Camilo Duvall started throwing. He ended up getting out of the 7th inning. But when you look at what Verlander has done in his last 3 starts, 18 in the 3rd innings, 12 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, 15 strikeouts. That's 3 good games for Justin Verlander. He is really topped out here in the last 3 games, being consistent in what he's throwing, but he still doesn't have a win. And I think when you start thinking about a guy that's 42 years old, he's like, well, what's going on here? But the Giants had an opportunity to give him that win. Duvall came in the 7th, got out of it, 3-2, and they went to Mr. Reliable, Tyler Rogers. He's been in 16 games, .059 earned run average, 14 strikeouts, 3 walks. But my question to you Giants fans, and again, it's a question, it's opinion, it's something we can talk about. Why didn't Camilo Duvall go back in the 8th inning? He only threw 7 pitches. He threw 4 for strikes. He was at 99 miles an hour on a cutter and a 94-mile-an-hour slider, 7 pitches. At that time, I thought maybe he should have gone out in the 8th inning. He was still warm. You went to Mr. Reliable. It does happen. Mr. Reliable, Tyler Rogers, has done the job. But I thought Camilo could have gone out in the 8th. He was throwing a ball extremely well. He has been over 9 appearances. But Bob Melvin went to Tyler Rogers, and Tyler threw the ball okay, but they ambushed him. They ambushed him early in the count. The first base hit by Doyle, 0-1 fastball, pushed it out to right field. A 1-2 pitch to Jordan Beck, hooked it down the left field line. Gets a ground out to third, and an 0-1 ball that was up, and Goodman hits it out to right field. That ball was probably the worst pitch he threw in that whole inning, and the Rockies end up scoring 2, 1 to tie it and 1 to go ahead. They come back, an opportunity in the bottom of the 8th. Wilmer Flores gets a base hit. Brett Wisely, who is now up in from AAA, Tyler Fitzgerald is on the IL, tried to steal second base. I love the aggressiveness of a base runner. Love how you do it, but I'm not sure that Brett Wisely's the fastest guy that could have done that. I don't know if that was an opportunity where Bob Melvin thought put him in scoring position, but sure enough, Scott Alexander comes in, the lefty, and he faces Yaz as well as Lee. And he gets Yaz on a base hit, could have been first and second, and Jung-Hoo Lee would have been have the opportunity to drive him in. It didn't happen. Those things happen in games. Things like this happen. But a couple questionable thoughts I thought I'd throw out there. 808 KNBR, if you want to get on the phone lines, give me your thoughts on these things. I just thought these are good question marks of a game. The game's always moving so fast. The game's so quick. pitchers in the bullpen coming in, starting pitchers trying to push another inning in. Today, I thought Justin Verlander was done after 6. His last 3 outings, as I said, all 6 innings. His last one against Texas, threw 89 pitches, 65 for strikes. Today, he threw 85 pitches, 53 for strikes. The fastball was still 96, 95, 94. Pretty good fastball. Threw 54 fastballs. 11 sliders, averaged about 87. And I'm looking back on the last game, about the same. The speed is about the same. And the uses of pitches, he threw more curveballs today. He threw 12 of them. A couple changeups and a couple sweepers, but mainly fastballs. And if you look back at that Texas game, he threw fastballs, and more fastballs and sliders that game, and he didn't really throw that many curveballs or changeups. I like the mix that he's doing. I really do. He tries to elevate the fastball, tries to get the slider down in his zone. The curveball was a good off-speed pitch. But today I thought possibly a couple changes could have helped them. It didn't happen. Of course, you're looking at Kyle Freeland, who's a left-hander. The Giants have struggled with left-handers. They were 2-7 going against left-handers. Kyle Freeland was struggling coming into this game. A 5.9 earned run average. His last outing, 4 1/3, 10 hits, 6 earned runs. He hasn't been pitching well at all. Matter of fact, the Rockies have lost all 4 of his starts coming into this game. But I don't know why. I don't know why the Giants can't hit lefties. A lot of the balls that he was throwing, he'd get away with a fastball. First pitch, he'd come back with the sweeper or the slider, and they got him on the inside part of the hands. He was really dominant for a while. He threw 9 pitches in the 4th, threw 12 pitches in the 5th, 1, 2, 3 innings. There was really nothing the Giants were doing against him. 1, 2, 3 in the 2nd, 1, 2, 3 in the 3rd, 1, 2, 3 in the 4th. And they finally got a walk. Bailey finally got a walk in the 5th, but he still, with the walk, he had a 1, 2, 3 inning. So there's conversation about left-hand pitchers. Can the Giants do something different? You had David Villar in there, led Luis Matos in there. Both of them really aren't doing much because they haven't been playing much. Christian Koss now is going to get more opportunities at second base against left-handers because Tyler Fitzgerald's on the IL. Brett Wisely now is probably going to hit more right-handed starting pitchers. There's going to be a combination there. Christian Koss almost hit a home run today. That ball was smoked out to right center field, right in front of the bullpen. But a couple thoughts today. Should Verlander have gone out in the 7th? Should Duvall have gone out in the 8th? Should Wisely have tried to steal 3rd or 2nd? That was all in the 8th inning. Give me your thoughts. 808 KNBR. Got a great guest on today. My buddy Jim Barr, of course, the Giants pitcher. He's on the Giants Wall of Fame. Love to talk to Jim, and I'm going to have him on a little bit later in the show. I'm Bill Laskey. This is Sportsphone KNBR. Let's get the phone lines calling. Let's get your thoughts on some of the opinions I have. We'll be right back right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sportsphone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Now he's swinging. It's a high fly ball to right. Waiting for it is Moniak. It comes right to him. And the Colorado Rockies, for the first time this year, have a winning streak.
All right, back on Sportsphone KNBR with Bill Laskey on a Thursday. Giants lose a tough one at Oracle 4-3. They're going to go back at it tomorrow. First pitch 7:15. It's a Friday night. Orange Friday. Robbie Ray on the hill for the San Francisco Giants. He's 3-0 with a 3.7 earned run average. His last start threw the ball real well against the Rangers. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Got a no decision. Going against Antonio Sensatella, the big right-hander, the 30-year-old, 1-4 with a 5.2 earned run average. And, you know, you look at these numbers on all these starters and you wonder, they're 5-25. And here's another guy that's really struggled. 29 1/3 innings, 50 hits, 7 earned runs, 17 earned runs, 7 home runs, I should say. And these are the guys that you have to really get after early and get some early runs. And tomorrow you'll see more of a left-handed lineup. Afternoon game on Saturday, Jordan Hicks 1-3 with a 6.1 earned run average. He threw the ball pretty well against Texas also with his line. 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks. I thought that was exceptional for him. 3 strikeouts. Going against another right-hander, Ryan Feltner. 6'4", 190-pounder, 28 years old, 0-2 with a 4.7 earned run average. His last outing against the Athletics in Colorado got the loss, 4 2/3, 10 hits, 5 earned runs. So a couple right-handers that the Colorado Rockies are throwing out there the next couple days, and the Giants should somehow be able to beat these guys. Come on now. They're a 3-game losing streak. They're 19-13. Something's got to happen, and once this momentum switches, hopefully they can win the next 3 games. 808 KNBR if you want to get on the phone line. It's got a full board. Let's go to Dennis in San Jose. Dennis, you're on a Thursday night Sportsphone KNBR with Bill Laskey. How you doing tonight, Dennis?
I'm doing good, Bill. Listen, here's the thing. Verlander's a great pitcher, you know, from the past, and he's great now, too. He should be 3-0 right now. And as far as I know, is we got to take the next 3 games from Colorado. No way that we should have lost a game today. We should have won that game.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right about Verlander. When you look at the numbers he's done, his last 3 games, going 6 innings each one today, pushed it to 6 1/3. I threw the numbers out there, 18 1/3 innings, only giving up 5 earned runs, and that last one was that home run ball today. But he's been pitching consistently, and I think that's what all Giants fans were wondering about the 42-year-old Dennis. But he's still throwing 96, 95 consistently with the fastball, and his secondary pitches are getting better and quicker.
Yeah, there's something else, too. This year we had one game that we got 25 hits in one game. They might have set a record, I'm not sure, but it was 25 hits in one game. So we got to know the batting, we got to know the strike zone and everything when we get up to bat, because these guys should be hitting. They shouldn't be in a slump. You know, I'm worried.
Well, I don't know if they're in a
because
slump. They faced a couple really good right-handed pitchers by the Padres on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the Padres set that up. When you look at what they did, and they just couldn't get a mounted attack against them. Very good pitching, very good team. The Padres wanted to come in there and slow the Giants down. They did, but I'm going to agree with you. This Rocky team at 5-25 coming in there was absolutely no kind of offense to them. They could not do anything with Kyle Freeland. They got to him in the 6th inning, but that was about it, Dennis. And this offense team, they're starting to hit a little better. Willie Adames had 2 nice hits today. Elliot Ramos had a home run yesterday, had another one today. The guy that's really struggling is Matt Chapman. He was 3 for 34 coming into this game. He was 1 for 4. Mike Yastrzemski's still doing extremely well. He was 2 for 4. But they have to do something else against these left-handers. Next couple of games are going to be right-handers, but they have to figure out what they can do against the left-handed starters, Dennis, and that's a big question mark when you're looking at 2-8 against left-handers. But we'll find out tomorrow. A new day. They can start this and try to win 3 out of 4 against Colorado, and that would be a good push going into the next road trip when they go to Chicago and Minnesota. Thanks for your call, Dennis. Let's go out to Hawaii and talk to my buddy Bert. Bert, aloha. How are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing fine there, Bill. How are you?
Good to hear your voice again, man. I appreciate your call. I saw you on the board, and I go, hey, my buddy in Hawaii is calling me.
Yeah, okay. Well, what a disappointing 3 games of San Diego, and now starting off with Colorado. And I agree with you, Bill, about keeping Verlander in on the 7th inning. I mean, that made no sense. And that's normally a time when Verlander starts going down is, after 5 or 6 innings. He did the same thing in Philadelphia about 3 starts ago when Giants took the lead. I think they were up 4-3 after making a comeback, and they kept Verlander in, and next thing you know, it was like 6-4.
Yeah, that was in the 6th inning. Bert, he tried to push it in the 6th inning, and he went 5 2/3 innings and he gave up 4 earned runs, and you're absolutely right in that game. But, it didn't make sense to me after the 6th inning once they got to 2 runs. Now, we don't know if Justin Verlander said, hey, I'm okay. He had just gotten 3 ground ball outs in the 6th inning, and he had only thrown 79 pitches. But still, at that time, the momentum switched back to the Giants, and with that solid bullpen, I really thought Bob Melvin would have tried to get the last 9 outs from the bullpen. He pushed it, and Verlander gives up the home run. What did you think about Camilo Duvall not going out in the 8th?
Yeah, I agree with that too, Bill. He should have sent out Camilo in the 8th inning, because with Walker struggling,
Walker's
in the
been
9th,
pitching pretty good.
He would
have had the 9th for sure.
Then you would have the 2 guys, Rogers and Ryan Walker available. But he decided to bring in Rogers in the 8th, and if Walker ran into trouble in the 9th, we would kind of be stuck as well. So, I agree with what you're saying about keeping the ball in for the 8th.
Plus, he only threw 7 pitches. That was it.
Yep.
7 pitches, 4 for strikes. He was warmed up. He threw 99-mile-an-hour cutter in that inning. That was about the only thing. When I saw Rogers come in, I was scratching my head because I was like, why isn't Camilo going out? And they had 9-1-2 coming up. And you could have easily had Tyler Rogers, if something would have happened, come in for the double play ball. That's why, I'm throwing opinions out there. I'm not diving on Bob Melvin or J.P. Martinez, but watching the game, that's what talk radio is about, opinions. And I would have probably kept Duvall in.
Yeah, and I think Melvin does give Verlander a longer leash than is needed. I mean, I know Verlander's a veteran and all that, but he is 42 years old. I mean, he was a great pitcher back then, but now he's settling in. And one other thing about the Giants, what makes me really worried is that I think they're hitting. We might be seeing this all season long. I just can't see anybody picking it up. I mean, Chapman, I know he's really struggling, but Chapman is typically about, a 230 hitter or so. And,
he was struggling. Remember this, Bert? When he came out of the Yankees, he was like 2 for 27. He was really scuffling. He got into Philadelphia, got real hot, got hot in the Angels, got hot again in the beginning of that homestand with Milwaukee, and then he got cold again. And that elevated fastball he's swinging through, and also the breaking ball away, you can see it where it's not hitting barrel of the bat. It's almost at the top of the bat, the tip of the bat. He's not getting to that outside pitch. And when I ran the numbers today, he was 0 for San Diego, 3 for 34. And maybe the 4th spot's different. Maybe they have to switch it. I know Bob Melvin loves the kid, and Matt Chapman is Gold Glove. Sometimes I think if you move guys around, they put Flores at 3 today because Jung-Hoo Lee wasn't hitting. He came up with 2 nice hits. Maybe they just have to juggle Chapman around a little bit.
Well, it's the entire lineup, I think, that we got problems. I mean, it's Bailey, Wade, wait until Flores and stuff starts going south as well. I mean, I see trouble.
Yeah, Flores
coming up.
had a real hard 2 games in San Diego. I think he punched out 4 times one day, and the next day a couple times. Today, that double down the line, that was a 3-2 fastball. You know, when you were looking at Kyle Freeland, he was throwing a ball away to him all the time, and he fouled off about 2 or 3 pitches, and he finally just caught the edge of one, called it down the right field line. You know, Kyle Freeland really threw the fastball first pitch, and then a lot of them were breaking balls and off speed, and that's where a lot of guys were rolling the ball over or pop-ups. They really didn't do anything against him for, second, third, and fourth inning. And that was the adjustments that the second time around, they really didn't, I didn't feel they made any kind of adjustments to him.
Okay. Well, I'll be keeping in touch, Bill.
Thanks, Bert. Thanks so much. Aloha, my friend. I appreciate your time. Let's go to Mike in San Francisco. Mike, you're on a Sportsphone KNBR Thursday night show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Bill. Thank you for taking the call. I'm just going to read this verbatim. Me, no disrespect, Verlander was the 3rd starter before Kyle Harrison got sick. He came here, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, because he wanted to perform here and well before he leaves the game. Duvall should be the closer, I think, at this point, because Ryan Walker doesn't have his confidence, and he's a 2-pitch guy.
He had a couple hiccups. I think he's back now. Did you think Duvall should have went back out in the 8th inning, Mike?
Okay. With Duvall, no. I saw Tyler out there, and Tyler's not pitching too well right now.
Who, Tyler Rogers?
Yeah, he went out there in the next inning.
Oh, no. Correct? I mean, the 8th inning he struggled, but he had a .059 earned run average. I mean, he was Mr. Reliable. Tyler Rogers has been spotless this year. 1 earned run in 15 1/3 innings. That's why that hiccup in the 8th inning, it was unusual for him. But what Colorado did to him, they went after him because he knows he throws strikes, and they ambushed him going the opposite way. I thought there was some good at-bats. He got one ball up. He got one ball up to Goodman, but the other ones was hooked down the line and a solid base hit. But I'm just thinking Duvall could have gone out in the 8th inning. He only threw 7 pitches. That's the opinion I have about moving into that bullpen and kept Tyler Rogers in the bullpen if he would have gotten in trouble. Going back to Verlander's now pitching consistently. There's no question about it. His last 3 starts have been extremely good. All 3 of them gone in a 6th inning. Those are all quality starts, 2 runs or less. And today he had another one going good. I mean, when you look at what he did in the first couple innings, they didn't touch him. They didn't touch him until the 3rd inning when Trio got the double. That was the first hit he gave up. So consistently, Mike, I think Verlander is better, and I think he's getting better. Velocity's up, good breaking ball, using a slow curveball. I think Duvall is a good setup man to Walker as well as Walker to Duvall. I don't think Bob Melvin's going to stick to one guy. He's going to flip-flop.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you on that. The last thing I want to ask you before I go is we look at baseball in terms of month-by-month progress. And with Tyler Fitzgerald being injured, why isn't Patrick Bailey hitting 9th?
Well, because I think he likes that 9-1-2. I think that's one of the biggest things that he likes to put a little speed at the bottom of the bag. I think that's what Bob Melvin likes, a little more speed at the base. With Patrick Bailey being a switch hitter, he uses him, and you see a lot of different relievers come in that bottom of the 7, 8, 9 hitters, and I think he likes leaving Patrick Bailey in that opportunity. Patrick's just not hitting the ball so far. He has just been struggling and a lot of weak contact, and I think that's one of the biggest things you have to look at for Patrick Bailey. Fantastic catcher. Picked a guy at first base today, caught one stealing. Caught a
nice move.
Yeah, caught a couple nice pop-ups behind home plate. You know, you can't argue about Patrick Bailey behind the dish. You just have to sacrifice some of his at-bats, and that's what the Giants are doing. But, we'll see what happens, Mike. It's still early in the season. You're only looking at 32 games, so, it's still early. All right, Mike, thanks for the call, buddy. I got to grab a couple. And let's go to Palo Alto and talk to Perry. Perry, you're on Sportsphone KNBR with Bill Laskey. How are you tonight?
Hey, Bill. First-time caller, but a big fan.
Thanks for calling. Appreciate you calling tonight.
Yeah, and just want to talk about Duvall. Definitely think he should have came out there for the eighth inning, but more of just a bigger picture thing. I think, going back to last year when he was kind of demoted and there was that whole issue with the lights, like he wanted lights to come on and the Giants didn't agree with that. It seems to be that there's some issue between the Giants and Duvall. Not big, but just that they don't maybe respect him as much as they should. He's an all-star pitcher, and I think he should be treated as such, and I think he should be the closer. And I understand he's had his ups and downs, but his stuff, I think, is miles better
it's
than
electric.
anyone else
No
in the
question.
bullpen.
Electric. Yeah, he's got electric stuff. I think what happened was, when he had trouble last year, Ryan Walker ended up being the closer. He went 15 for 15 save opportunities, 15 saves. So as the beginning of the year came in, that's what Bob Melvin, J.P. Martinez felt that he was our closer. Now Camilo Duvall had a couple hiccups in the beginning, struggled a little bit. His last 9 appearances has been just the same Camilo we knew when he made the National League All-Star team 2 years ago. He's going to change it. There's no question. Camilo is going to be in the latter part of every game. Somebody asked Bob Melvin in a post-game remark about who's your closer. And he goes, we have 2 of them. And really, if you think about it, if you're playing like they did 17 straight games in a row, you can use 2 of them. But in certain scenarios, you're going to have to use one or the other. Today, I just felt Camilo could have went in the 8th inning, as you did too. And I think that would have brought in Ryan Walker to close the game. It was still a good game. It was still 3-2. And Camilo just blew people away when he came in. Mr. Reliable, no doubt. Tyler Rogers has the numbers. He's been the consistent pitcher down there, the veteran down in the bullpen. Today, the Rockies got to him, and that's where that's why we can discuss should have Camilo gone in, should he not have, and Bob Melvin took his choice.
Pitchers are such creatures of habit, as you know, and whether you're in that 8th or that 9th inning, and being able to get ready, and I think if Camilo is able to know that he's going to pitch the 9th inning or the 8th inning, so be it, that he's going to be much better. And
I think so too. I think we'll see how this works out. We'll see how it works out. The other thing too is, did you feel Verlander should have went out in the 7th inning? That's the other question I threw out there tonight.
Probably not. I would have left him. I would have finished him off there. Pat him on the back. It's a good start. Left him with a good feeling. Only giving up 1 run, and he goes out there. I don't know if they're trying to get more innings, more outs, so they have.
Well, I don't know if Justin Verlander pushed him. Sometimes when you're talking to a 42-year-old, 3 Cy Youngs, he wanted to go back out there in the 7th inning. He might have pushed it and said, "Give me 1 hitter, give me a couple hitters." But at that time, when you're looking at 80 pitches was 79, pitches right around that 80 mark. And I think that's good for him. If he can just be steady 6 innings and come out of the game in a win form, I think you got to go to your bullpen for 9 outs.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Well, thanks for the call tonight, Mike. I appreciate your time, and we will, hopefully you'll talk more, Perry. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Peter in San Jose. Peter, you're on Sportsphone KNBR on a Thursday night with Bill Laskey. Tough loss by the San Francisco Giants tonight. How'd you think about the game? Are you there, Peter? All right, and let's go to Sean in San Rafael. Sean, you're on a Thursday night Sportsphone. How are you tonight, Sean?
Good. How are you, Bill?
Well, just a little couple opinions on the game today. I kind of threw them out there. Verlander going out in the 7th, Duvall not going out in the 8th, Brett Wisely trying to steal in the bottom of the 8th. A couple thoughts I had. I'm not dishing on anybody, but, when you're watching the game and you're kind of analyzing the game, a couple thoughts I threw out there.
Yeah, no. I think you mentioned that good point with Duvall. I think he could have gone out and maybe, like, even if he just gets a guy on first base with one out, I think Tyler Rogers is able to get that ground ball double play and get him out of that inning.
Yep.
But I really thought the Giants played really good defense tonight.
Yeah, they had one error. That was it. That was that one that Chapman dropped early in the game. And matter of fact, the second hitter of the game, he just looked like he took his eye off it. But, boy, did he come back with like 4 or 5 beautiful plays. The one down the third base line, way behind the bag to throw it across the diamond. That was sensational.
Yeah, Matt Chapman's obviously a gold and platinum glover for a reason. You had great plays by Bailey with the back pick, and then the diving catch in foul territory. You had Yastrzemski in the ninth.
How about that catch Yastrzemski made in the top of the 9th inning? Boy, oh boy, that saved another run. He couldn't have stretched any farther. It was that good of a play.
No, yeah, it was amazing on the run. Headed out. That was trouble, especially with the guy on first in the 2-out jump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good defense. They're just struggling with the offense. This week they lost 2 in San Diego. This game, they just couldn't come up with an answer against Kyle Freeland. And, when you're going 1, 2, 3 for 3 straight innings, there's got to be something that they have to adjust to.
Yeah, for sure. It was overall another fun night out at the yard tonight.
Bitter cold, though, Sean. A little cold and windy out there?
Yeah, it was very cold. But we were seated it was pretty cheap tickets tonight, so we were seated down in the club level, or not the club, the field club, and our seats were right next to like kind of where the players walk out.
Oh,
and
good.
And Jung-Hoo Lee was walking out, and I actually got his autograph in the picture with him.
Good kid, man. Jung-Hoo Lee, I got to interview him through his interpreter, Justin. That was a fun interview. Very likable player and a very good Giant.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. Well, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate your time tonight, and too bad they lost when you went out there. But there'll be another game, and you'll definitely give me a call when they do win. So we'll have another call later down the road. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Sportsphone KNBR. More coming up right here. I'm Bill Laskey, and this is KNBR, the Sports Leader.
sports fans. This is your hub to have your voice heard. Sportsphone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
All right, back on KNBR, Sports Phone with Bill Laskey. Giants lose a tough one. First game of a 4-game homestand against the Colorado Rockies, 4-3 at Oracle tonight on a windy, cold night. 27,198 went out there, and you saw a lot of blankets, saw a lot of beanies, you saw a lot of people cuddling up, and it was one of those cold candlestick nights, and Giants just couldn't get back on edge for a win. They've lost 3 in a row now, 2 in San Diego, 1 now, and tomorrow Robbie Ray's going to be the stopper for the San Francisco Giants, 7:15 Orange Friday. Robbie Ray against Antonio Sensatella, the big right-hander for the Colorado Rockies. All right, let's get back to the phone lines before I bring in my buddy Jim Barr. Of course, Jim, 12 years pitched in Major League Baseball, 10 of them for the Giants. He's on the Giants Wall of Fame. We'll talk to him in a little bit. But let's go to Joshua. He's in Orlando, Florida. Joshua, how are you this evening?
Oh, I'm great, Bill. I just wanted to say, when you got cold bats, you got to do the Brandon Belt job. Get a bunt for a hit, or you got a guy on first with less than 2 out, bunt him over and hit him in, get that RBI.
I agree. Small ball. I agree totally. And did you agree with Brett Wisely trying to steal a bag in the bottom of the 8th?
Oh, yeah, I thought that was fine. It's just a little bit of luck didn't go his way. But I think the fundamentals will always back up any line that you put out there. You just got to use them.
Yeah, being aggressive on the base pass, no question about it. The Giants have been doing great. You know, when you're looking at stolen bases, they have 21 coming into today's game. And, you know, they're hustling. 7 of them, they've been caught. So today's a caught stealing. It was just, with a lefty on the hill, Scott Alexander, it was going to be tough to get that break. And that was the only thing I thought about it. Maybe stay there just a little bit more. Maybe a couple more pitches, get deeper in the count. And sure enough, you saw what happened. He steals the bag, he gets thrown out, and Yastrzemski gets a base hit. Doesn't it always seem that way?
Yeah, you know what? Wisely had the good idea to try to get himself in scoring position. Just didn't work out tonight. But I think that they could turn it around for the rest of the series. But if they don't use those fundamentals, it's going to be more of the same like tonight.
Yeah, now that the righties they're gonna face 3 right-hand starters, and they're doing really well against right-handers. We know that the numbers are on their way. They're against right-handers 17-5, and that's pretty good because then they put Yastrzemski as a leadoff. They put Lamont Wade Jr. back at first base. Bailey goes to the left side. And you might see Wisely now at second base, giving him a left-hand hitter at the base. So I think the advantage goes to the Giants. Robbie Ray threw really well his last game against Texas, going 7 innings, only giving up 2 earned runs. That was one of the better games he's throwing. And you know what? The weather here in Northern California is going to be cold again tomorrow.
Yep, I agree. And Robbie Ray, go, go, go. I'm loving the guy.
Well, thanks, Joshua. Appreciate your call, Joshua. Let's go back to San Jose and talk to Peter. Peter, you are on Sportsphone KNBR. Sorry you dropped your call a minute ago. How are you?
No problem, Bill. I'm doing pretty good.
Peter?
I'm there.
Good,
Hello?
good. Tough game today. Tough loss. Yeah, I'm here. Tough loss today,
Yeah.
Peter. They, 2 runs in the top of the 8th inning steered them wrong.
Yeah, I'm not going to act like it was not a tough game, but honestly, we can analyze it, but it's one of those losses where it's like, I don't think it was Melvin. I think you had a guy with a 0.5 ERA pitching against a team with one road win. And it happens, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it does happen. It's just, you know, some of my opinions going out there, just throwing it. Should have Verlander have gone out in the 7th inning? He threw a really nice aim for 6. He might have pushed Melvin. You give him that opportunity. He's your, you know, a Hall of Famer, three-time Cy Young. Pushed himself also, you know, and maybe he should have just let him take the 3-1 lead and try to get the bullpen to get 9 outs. It didn't work out. The other question was, should have Duvall gone out in the 8th inning? That's the other question I would have probably questioned or even asked Bob Melvin why.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of Duvall, I think he's completely back, and I don't disagree that Ryan Walker is fine, because I do like Ryan Walker too, and it's a good problem to have, because I think they're both good. But I do think Duvall has a longer track record, and maybe they should consider give Walker a couple more chances. It doesn't mean you demote Walker. With Duvall, it got so bad they had to demote him, but. I think
it's a two-headed monster, don't you think, Peter? It's kind of a two-headed monster. You could go either way as your closer. You could go either way to be a setup guy too. And you know what? He went with Duvall in the 7th inning today and went with Mr. Reliable. And there's no question about it. Tyler Rogers has been pitching the most consistent in the bullpen, and they just got to him today.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good problem to have for sure. But I would just wanted to bring like 3 silver linings, I guess. About this season so far, really quick.
Sure, please do.
I think, first of all, like I said, I think they've lost 2 games out of the 3 where guys that are usually good just didn't perform, and that's fine early in the season. It's almost like when you have a good start to the season like they have had, you can afford to have, hey, this Logan Webb's a stud, but he pitched bad in San Diego. And then Tyler Rogers has a 0.5 ERA, and he blew the game today. But I don't think it's a big deal, being that
there's too many games left. Too many games left. But you would,
12.
Yeah, and you would have thought a little bit more offense today against Kyle Freeland. It just didn't do anything till the 6th inning. Elliot Ramos is starting to get hot. You see him hitting the ball a lot better in the last couple of games.
430
make good. Willie Adames is starting to go the other way. He had a couple nice base hits today. I just wonder if he's going to start changing the lineup a little bit, maybe put Chapman down a little bit. 3 for 34 in a slump, but he hit that ball really well to right center field tonight. It is just question marks. You just don't know if he's going to mix up the lineup. He had Wilmer Flores hitting third today because Jung-Hoo Lee was out, but he'll be back in the lineup the next 3 games against right-handers. We'll just see what he does. Most of the time, Bob Melvin sticks with the same guys.
Yeah, the only thing that concerns me, and I definitely like this team much better, it's one of their strengths, is that they have really good everyday players, and it's even strange to see Jung-Hoo Lee not out there one game, but he needs a rest. I am concerned about our depth, because I look around at our minor league guys, or even our best prospects are rookie ball guys. And even Carson Whisen, he has a 5 ERA again. Bryce Elters is awesome, and he had a good game today, 3 hits, but man, I just worry about the depth, because if we have a lot of injuries,
they're really young though. They are young, Peter. They're in their early 20s, so you got to give them a couple years to groom a little bit. Carson Whisenhunt's really thrown the ball well in Sacramento. I had him on for an interview last Sunday, and he's only walked 2 guys that struck out 23. He's really limiting the walks, getting more in the strike zone, is elevating the fastball up to 95, 96. He's got a slider now. But where do you put him? Because the next guy, if you're going to move a starter in the rotation, would probably be Hayden Birdsong. I don't think you're going to see Kyle Harrison jump in here, but really the 5-man rotation has been pitching well lately. They've been pitching consistently lately, and let's just see how this works out. Like you said, they're 19-13, and you know what? They got to get Colorado. They got to win 3 games here. This is a team that's way under 500, and they just have to if you get a lead on teams like this and you build that lead, a losing team will never come back, and let's hope that happens in the next 3 games.
I think is a disaster. Even this early in the year, you got at least. I could see them just something happening and they lose one of these 3, but if you lose 3 out of 4, especially with the way this division is.
Boy, the phone lines will be busy if they lose 3 out of 4, pal. And I'll have a lot of people talking.
They're worse than the White Sox so far. They're 5 and 25.
You're absolutely right. But Peter, thanks for the call on a Thursday. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to finish up the calls here with Andrea from Berkeley, and then I'll get my buddy Jim Barr on. Andrea, how are you tonight?
Good, Bill. How are you?
Just disappointed. I thought the Giants could have pulled this up. I threw a couple of my opinions out there, and, it happens. And, I'm not down on the Giants at all. They're playing great baseball. But, when you see games like this, you go the and, if, ors. And I think that's what I'm saying tonight.
Yes, and it's a good way to put it. I've been enjoying your shows this week. I just haven't always had a chance to call in, so thank you for your shows.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've been on a little bit and been good callers. Got a lot of consistent callers, got a lot of new callers, and I love talking to fans, as you know. And you know what? Tonight's just one of those games, like I said. And if or Andrea, and they might have pulled one out.
That's Neptune speaking, and Saturn, yeah, really, delay not denial. That's the mantra for Saturn. And I just heard Justin Verlander's interview, and he's born February 20th, 1983. And, you know, he pitched well enough to win. That's the frustrating part.
He sure did. Last 3 games, Andrea. His last 3, all 6 innings. Today he pushed himself a little
5
bit.
5 hits, 2 runs.
Yeah, he threw well. And the velocity's there, 96. So his velocity's there. The arm is there. The consistency we've seen in the last 3 games is what I like.
Right. And that's the frustration of the Saturn transit when you pitch really well, but you're not rewarded for it. So it's like delay, not denial mantra. And the Neptune can be disappointing, but, you know, he's kind of hanging in there. And he's like, hey, it's a good team. We have a good bullpen. But by the same token, and to your point earlier, I wouldn't have put him out for another inning. Less is more.
Good. I'm glad you said that, because I would have done the same thing. Once that 2 runs came, I think I would have just put my arm around him and said, you know what, my friend, it's 3-1. You're going to win. Let's get the bullpen to get 9 outs.
Yes. Yeah, less is more with the Neptune Saturn transit.
That's good. I'll need to know that. I'll remember that one.
Yes, please do, and I'm always happy to help and share and update. But you know, it's just like Justin said, it's baseball.
It totally is, Andrea. And you know what? They got to come back tomorrow with a win. It's a Friday night, Orange Friday, and Robbie Ray throwing. And this team they're playing, the Rockies, are struggling. And as I just said, you just got to get up on these guys and add runs. That's why they lose. They're not a comeback team. Today they did with Tyler Rogers on a couple opposite field hits. But this is the kind of team that you want to play, and this is the kind of team you have to get some wins against.
Yes, exactly. And I think that no need to, you know, push him, put him out for another inning, even if he begs to stay out there. Less is more. You know, he just did as well as he could, and then no need to make him try to do any more.
I'm going to bring that up. Every time I see Justin go more than 6 innings, I'm going to say, put the stop sign up. Less is more. Leave Justin out of there. Get the bullpen in.
Right, he may or may not agree, but that's kind of what the plan is.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they needed. They need to do that. I think 6 innings is the max with him, unless it's his pitch counts down. But you can still
get the win.
Yeah, and he had to win. And 9 outs from the bullpen, and his bullpen's second best.
Right.
So tonight was a hiccup with Tyler Rogers. Mr. Reliable has not had one bad outing until tonight. So it does happen. That's why we play 162 games, Andrea.
That is true, and I'll take a look at Tyler Rogers' chart, yes.
Yeah. All right, Andrea, thanks for the call on a Thursday night. You be well out in Berkeley.
Yes, you too. Thanks again for your shows this week,
All
Bill.
right. Thanks, Andrea. Appreciate your time. All right, coming up next, my buddy Jim Barr. He pitched all the way to he's 35 years old. I got to talk to him about Justin Verlander at 42. So we're going to talk to the San Francisco Giants Wall of Famer coming up next. My teammate, my good friend Jim Barr. He's coming up next on Sportsphone KNBR.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sportsphone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
All right, back on Sportsphone KNBR on a Thursday night with Bill Laskey. Giants lose a tough one at Oracle. First game of a 4-game homestand against the Colorado Rockies. Rockies with 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Giants with 3 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. The Rockies now are 6 wins, 25 losses. San Francisco Giants are 19-13. A game tomorrow, Orange Friday, 7:15. Robbie Ray against Antonio Sensatella. All right, that's on tomorrow, 7:15. First pitch right here. My guest pitched for 12 years in Major League Baseball. At one time, he had 101 wins. He was a starter, 64 complete games. Just fantastic numbers, 20 shutouts, 12 saves. He was a rock in the Giants rotation as well in the bullpen. My teammate, my good friend Jim Barr. How are you tonight, JB?
All right, Bill. Doing very good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for keeping up a little late with me tonight, but it's a late night radio, and I appreciate you jumping on. But I got to ask you, man, Justin Verlander, 42 years old, still throwing the rock at 96 miles an hour, JB. How's he doing it?
Yeah, he's done it for so many years. Pretty soon you get to a point where you just kind of feel like you're in cruise control. And then you got to be careful because you don't want to get too complacent feeling that way. But he's pitching very good. I kind of thought I was hoping maybe they'd let him go out for that next inning. But, it's kind of a easy thing to say now that it's over with. But, of course, as a pitcher, you always want to go out there as much as you can. And I just thought he was throwing the ball very well, that one more inning wouldn't have mattered that much to him.
Yeah, JB, the last 3 outings, he went 6 innings in each one, and that was one of the reasons why the and, if, ors, of course, we always ask about it when it doesn't work. And he goes out there and tries to throw a fastball by McMahon on a 1-1, and he hits a dead center field. And at that time, I was like, why? Why are they doing that to him when you got a full bullpen? It was well rested. All your top-line relievers were rested, and I thought you could have got 9 outs out of the bullpen against the Rockies.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice to, of course, as a pitcher to a pitcher, you want to see him go as long as he can.
Right.
And I think he would all right going one more inning, but at the same time, your bullpen's been doing very well. And, Duvall, it's really nice to see him getting back into that groove again because I know how good he was last year and struggled a couple of times early this year. But he's in there now, so it's easy to say, yeah, he's doing good. Let's take Verlander out. We'll put him in. But at the same time, I'm just in the believer if a guy's doing well, let him go until he shows that he can.
Mm-hmm. Well, JB, the game has changed. Relievers back in our day went 2-3 innings. There was no question there. Even Moonman Mitten would get saves in an inning and a third, inning and 2/3. I threw your numbers out. You were always a 2 or 3 inning guy coming out of the bullpen. That's why the and if ors came back on Camilo Duvall going back in the 8th inning. I just questioned that a little bit, even though Mr. Reliable, Tyler Rogers, was ready to go. He had only thrown 7 pitches, and 4 of them were strikes, and he threw a 99-mile-an-hour cutter. I felt he could have gone out there in the 8th.
Yeah, I felt that he was throwing the ball very well. And, a lot of pitching is confidence. And you get confidence in yourself, and you can get on a roll. And I just think he was in that position right now that one more inning I don't think would have bothered him at all. And then would have, like you said earlier in the show, would have set it up perfect for Walker then to come in and throw the 9th.
JB, when you start looking at rotations and you see guys going 5-6 innings and, 6 innings, of course, 2 runs or less is a quality start. And I'm looking at Justin Verlander's last 3 starts. Each one of them, he went into 6 innings at 70 to 85 pitches. Today, after that 6 1/3, he had 85, but he was at 79 after 6 innings. And I thought right then and there, it's another good confidence builder for him. And he had 3 consecutive good starts going 6 innings. And I questioned the point of why try it again? He's 42 years old. If you can get 6 innings out of him every start, wouldn't you be happy with that?
Oh, heck yeah, absolutely.
And that's kind of the thought pattern there, But again, we don't know if Justin Verlander went to Bob Melvin and said, "Hey, I'm good. It's 3-1. Let me go one more." We don't know how that works. And how's Bob Melvin going to look at a 3-time Cy Young winner and going, "Okay, let me pull you out then," or to that nature? But you know how that works.
I can probably guess that he didn't say that. You know yourself as a pitcher, you come out, if I'm winning the game, and you're coming out there thinking I'm getting tired, I'm going to say, "I'm not tired, get out of here."
Exactly. They were talking on the mound. You saw that. Everybody was kind of talking, and Verlander put the glove in front of his mouth, and everybody started laughing. And I really would love to hear what they had to say. You even saw Patrick Bailey as he was walking off the mound. There was some good laughter going on. I would have loved to find out what he said. But you know what? I got to throw this to you, JB. We've had some good infielders when we played. Darrell Evans, O'Malley was at third. What do you think about Matt Chapman playing third base?
I think he's a very good third baseman. I think, the few things, if he lost at one or two here and there, I think overall in the long run, he's the best guy for that position right now because he's comfortable there. He's going to, he might make an error here and there, but he's going to make some plays that definitely make up for him being there at third base. So I think it's a good play.
Have you ever seen a third baseman play so deep? Because he's got that golden arm. He's got the pure set. That play he made behind third base today to go across the diamond was just pure Matt Chapman. I've never seen a third baseman play that deep before.
Yeah, he does have a good arm. Well, I think one of the reasons they play so deep is because you don't have the fear of a bunt being laid down.
Yeah.
And if it does happen, it's only one guy or two guys that might do it, and only going to do it one time during the game. So I think he feels comfortable back there knowing that he's going to get more ground balls than he's going to have to worry about charging a bunt.
The other guy I love talking about is Jung-Hoo Lee out in center field. I think he's really come around. Giants fans have been watching him this year. He's been doing great defensively. Oracle Park, you've been there a lot. That's a big center field. How do you think he's been doing?
That's a big center field, and I think he plays it very well. Yastrzemski with the catch he made tonight, and he played good. He's playing, I think, excellent outfield too. But Lee, I think he's good. Of course, he's got a lot of confidence right now with his hitting going on, his defense too. But I think he covers that ballpark that you need speed out there, and I think he covers that area very well, very well.
Well, let's go to that catch Yastrzemski made. I mean, all the replays, he couldn't have made it any farther with the reach that he had, as well as the speed. And, you've seen a lot of good outfielders with that first step. I think that's the biggest thing that you see with Ramos getting better. And we talked about Lee. Yastrzemski is that way. He really makes those routes look easy.
Yeah, I think another thing, the step, yeah. But, I remember being in spring training a lot of times, and you have coaches there tell you, well, you want to lead with this foot first. Well, but there's always one thing that's always kind of irritated me when they say, well, you want to do it this way. Well, what if I can do it the other way faster? Is that not? Mm-hmm. Is that wrong? So it's not wrong. And I think Yastrzemski gets a very good jump on balls, and it's not so much the jump, but I think as an outfielder, you want to know kind of where that ball is going to be. So you're not just getting a jump and then running it down. You're thinking more running to a spot. I'm running fast as I can to that spot, and that's just as good as getting a good jump.
JB used to run them down in batting practice. I remember you running a lot of those balls down in the outfield.
Oh, man, I didn't like doing the pitcher running, foul line to foul. So
you used to always be the first one when we ran with pitchers. I used to love watching you take the rookie and the pitching staff and go, "Come on, Rick, run with me," and we would just all be laughing because the guy would be dead after about 12 sprints with you.
Well, we did that spring training. I came in there and they said, "Okay, everybody grab a partner," and they all go, "I've got to take take him, but I don't want Bar.
Exactly. That's the whole point of it. Nobody wanted to run with you, JV, because you were like a horse, man. You were never tired. You'd run pole to pole, and you would just go forever. But it was so funny because everybody would go, "You're a rookie, go run with JB," and the rookie would go, "Oh, yeah, I'll run with you, vet." And then he was dead by 10 sprints. Those were funny spring training, Jay.
Well, I ran a lot during the off season because I always took the attitude when I go to spring training, I want to work on things. I don't want to try to get in shape. I want to be in shape, ready to work on things. So that's kind of why I ran a lot.
You know, when we look at your career, of course, you pitched till you're 35 years old. Was there something when you ended at your career? Was it injuries? What was it that kind of said, no more?
Well, I think I did have that one injury in '82, my rotator cuff slight tear, but that came back and I was able to pitch '82, '83. I think it just was a thing that after the '83 season, they were going to some young pitchers, and being at my age, they just thought it was time for me to hang them up. So, and I didn't want to play that game of going back to Florida, try to hook on with this team, try to hook on to any team. So I just said, I think my days are done. I'm done. I'm going home.
Well, one of the stats that always gets me gravitating to your career is 64 complete games. Complete games, of course, you maybe see one or two a complete time during a season. 64 complete games, and I loved what you said earlier in this conversation. If you're going to take me out, you better have a reason to take me out. And I've seen you. You were a tough guy, and you were a tough SOB trying to get out of the game. What was it about that made you that competitive?
Well, I mean, we were in Philadelphia one time, and Bill Rigney came out to the mound and told me, he goes, it was in the ninth inning, and I had a couple guys on base in the eighth inning, got out of the inning, fine, no problem, go to the ninth inning. I get one guy on base, and he comes up and he goes, "You must be getting tired." I go, "Well, why wasn't I tired in the eighth inning? I had two guys there, but you didn't take me out then, so you're not going to take me out now either." So he left me in the game, finished the game, and we won.
JB, JB, Jim Barr's joining me on Sportsphone KNBR, so you hear on here, and a good friend of mine for many years. At that ninth inning, it's always the toughest outs. I was a starting pitcher. The ninth inning, you'd walk out there and you're like, I only need 3 more outs. Why is it mentally fatiguing you at that time?
Well, I think one of the things is it gets to you. You start thinking about, okay, I got to get this out. I can't let anybody get on base. I can't give up a run. You start thinking of the negative stuff instead of just thinking, well, how did I get to this point? Inning number 1 all the way up to inning number 9, and by pitching what I can do. And I've always, at the high school level, one of the biggest things I try to instill in pitchers now is you have to pitch with confidence. Mm-hmm. You might throw a ball, okay, I'll throw a strike on the next pitch. The next pitch is a ball, okay, I'll throw a strike on the next pitch. You throw 4 straight balls, you can't get down yourself going, oh man, I threw 4 straight balls. No, okay, I just missed. I'll get the next guy out. So you're trying to tell yourself that I have confidence I can do it. In the ninth inning, it's no different. I still have to pitch the way I did in the first and second inning all the way up to the ninth inning and have that confidence that I can get those guys out.
Well, I always talk about Don McMahon, our pitching coach for years there with the Giants, and he used to say, quit thinking and let the hitters get outs. Don't worry about yourself. Just throw strikes and let the hitters make outs. A good hitter gets a hit 1 every 3 at-bats. You might get lucky.
Yeah, one of the things that I try to tell pitchers too is the hitter will get himself out the majority of the time. You have to have confidence in yourself to get the ball. Don't throw a pitch he can't hit, because then invariably it's a ball. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw a ball in a good spot that he can't hit hard. I don't care if he hits it. I just don't want him to hit it hard. So where's that spot? So I'm always thinking about, get a good location, not just a speed or a curveball. If I throw a good curveball, don't be better, just be good. You throw a good one. How can you throw a better one? Just throw another good one. So it's always that mind game that you're trying to do and not worrying about what the hitter's going to do. Just have confidence in what you can do.
Oh, good words right there, and you're a damn good pitching coach. I know it. So, you know what, JB, thanks for jumping on with me tonight. It's a pleasure always catching up with you, and I know you're doing a great job up in Sacramento with the high school team, and continued success, and I'll definitely stay in touch with you.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it, and I love listening to your show. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim Barr. That was Jim Barr, my good friend. Of course, you can see his plaque on the San Francisco Giants Wall of Fame on the Embarcadero. Good guy. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back with the finish on Sportsphone KNBR on a Thursday. I'm Bill Laskey. This is KNBR, the sports leader. Ready to do it? All right, welcome back to Sportsphone KNBR with Bill Laskey as we close out a Thursday. Giants lose a tough one to the Colorado Rockies, 4-3 earlier this evening. 4 runs, 8 hits for Colorado, 3 runs, 9 hits with 1 error for the Giants. The Giants are now 19-13, but they are in a now. They've lost 3 in a row, 2 to San Diego, now 1 to Colorado. They're going to try to stop it tomorrow. Robbie Ray on the hill. He's 3-0 with a 3.7 earned run average against the right-hander from the Rockies, Antonio Senzatella. He's 1-4 with a 5.2 earned run average. First pitch right here at 7:15. It's Orange Friday. Get your orange jerseys out and get out to Oracle Park. I want to thank my guest today. Jim Barg did a great job with me late night. You can hear his podcast on all KNBR podcasts if you missed it. And I got to thank my buddy, my producer, Cole LaPelt today, did a great job answering the phones. And you Giants fans for doing it and calling in, and as we discuss this game and more with the Giants. Tomorrow I'll be right back here on Sportsphone KNBR after the Friday night late game. Steve Kroner will be on with me tomorrow. He's reporting for AP, so he'll be doing a little post-game remarks, and we'll find out more from him after the game. For Bill Laskey, be safe, be well, have a great rest of the night, and we'll have more right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
And silver, tax-free and penalty-free. But don't wait. This threat is real. Call 800-324-9902. Now again, that's 800-324-9902. Call right now and